Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Salem by Night. This is our Camarilla chapter, and last we left off, we were missing Melvin Wright from our little coterie, but that didn't stop us from having a Nancy Drew adventure, trying to figure out what's going on in the city. Among the things that were discovered, Albert discovered that AM 710 has conspiracy theorists that will back up any theory that he puts up there after 10 o'clock at night. They found out that the Last Call bar has some interesting characters kind of out in the vicinity. They discussed the political sphere of the English national political sphere. They had a conversation about Albert ever going back to London and how London has been ruled by the St. Ventru for several centuries. And then the interesting thing happened when Albert saw a series of cats, three of them in particular, and they discovered Teddy in the alley across the street, kind of looking over, dressed in a tattered queen shirt, a denim vest, a sleeveless trench coat, and these long pants with no shoes. He explained that he had been on his way to Chicago when some lupines tried to take the better of him, and he has been trying to heal in the city ever since. They saw a Middle Eastern male kind of walk up to them, accost Albert about having Andrew Gibbons stink on him, and then he, with the same kind of gusto, he left. But they did learn some things about how there is an organization called or clan rather, called the Ministry. They learned some stuff about what Teddy saw the night in question as they were trying to figure out what happened to Hugh Weston. They also came across a restless that appeared to be Hugh himself and tried to get some wordless messages across from the other side. They found a pawn shop with what looked to be an outward-facing camera, and then after a kind of few rounds of back and forth, they finally let Albert use his mesmerize to pull the 24 VHS tapes from the last 2 weeks, and then they took off. They went back to the bar. They saw Samantha arguing with another woman who turned out to be Elizabeth Guernsey. And then after kind of driving her off, and I use the term loosely, they returned to the home on the range diner, where they kind of let Valerie know about her husband. Connie ended up calling the Lucky Dime Diner looking for Sheriff Greene. And then after a long, kind of very heartfelt discussion about how Albert met his wife, Greene arrived, asked them what they had found. Albert accused the other coterie of Hugh Weston's murder, with no real proof, just the kind of say-so of a ghost who only Albert could see. The sheriff described that there's been an influx of caitiff in the city and has asked the group to investigate the situation. He explained how these are usually Sabbat tactics to kind of putting bodies on the streets to create a war of chaos and distrust. And he also told them that Geraldine does not know about the caitiff issue, so he'd like to keep it as quiet as possible. He's hoping that the caitiff can lead them, the group, to their sires so they can kind of figure out what's going on. And after that whole situation, Albert ended up feeling through every fiber of his being that he was now alone in the world as far as his lineage is concerned, as he discovered within a few minutes that not only is his sire gone and succumbed to the beckoning, but also one of the pictures of the current caitiffs in the city is his daughter, Lydia. And we're going to pick up with our group. It's good to see everyone again.
Hello.
Are super reliable.
We're going to pick up with We're gonna pick up with Melvin since he had a little baby's day out adventure without the two of you. We're going to see just what he got up to.
I'm gonna go visit some suppliers for the restaurant and try to negotiate some pricing for meat products. And no, I'm just kidding. I'm not
There you
doing
go. All right,
Restaurant Simulator.
Yeah, Restaurant Simulator 3.0. So with you, we left off that you had tossed in the keys. You had a hunch about going back and kind of checking some things out, and you've told me that you've doubled back. You've clicked on your obfuscate. The room that Antoine was in is on a second story. How are you gonna get up into it? You're gonna go back inside the club? You're gonna go outside? You've got options.
Whew. I'm gonna climb up.
Oh yeah.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my new little potence ability, prowess, to add my potence to my climb check with strength. Which I have to do a rouse.
Yes. So roll your die.
So let's see how that goes.
Let me know what you get.
Nope, I got a 2, so I guess my hunger goes up, right?
Your hunger goes up by 1.
All right, so I'm at 2 hunger.
But now you do get to roll your strength and athletics.
All right.
And you get to add your potence in dice.
So that's 3. So yeah, my potence is 3 right now.
And your strength and athletics
is 3 together combined.
So 6 dice, 4 regular, 2 hunger.
Okay.
Not a terrible dice pool.
Okay, so I got 3 successes. I got one. Let's see. I got a 6 and a 3 on my hunger die.
Nope.
Then I got
1 success.
8.
2.
Yeah, I got an 8, a 9,
3.
A 3, and a 2.
Yep, 3 successes. Sure enough, you kind of look up at the balcony. You see that the doors are open, but you don't hear anything coming from the room itself. So you kind of hoist up your pants and you just, as quietly as possible, just force your fingers into the concrete and you just push yourself up. And as you kind of climb over the railing, you can see that Antoine Malcolm Davies is in fact sitting across from Andrew Givens. And as you kind of come up and make your way towards the door, are you trying to openly kind of walk into the room, or are you trying to...
Oh, no. I do not want them knowing I'm here. Okay. No, I want a free flow of communication to happen between the two of them.
All right, go ahead and give me a stamina and a stealth check then.
Okay. Well, I have Silence of Death for obfuscate, so would I still need to roll that?
Yes, only because it's not about you making noise, it's about you be keeping yourself unvisible.
Okay, and so you said, what is it, stamina and what?
And stealth. Because remember, people with auspex can pierce obfuscation.
Oh, okay.
So it would behoove you to remain hidden.
Of course. I got a 2, I've got a 3, and I've got a 10, and I've got a 6. The 10 and the 6 are on my hunger dice, so yeah.
2 successes. So you kind of keep your distance. You don't go inside the room whatsoever. And luckily, the way they're sitting, they kind of are 3/4 turned away from you. But you hear Andrew, and it is something that you've been prepared to hear, dealing with with Albert because it is just the most British night of your life so far. But Andrew kind of has leaned in and he's just like, Malcolm, I believe, and I don't have any proof, but I believe that I'm being targeted. I wouldn't have come to you unless, I've exhausted all of my other avenues. I would not dare kind of bring this to your attention. But I have one business left, and I am willing to trade it for safe passage out. I would have gone to Chicago, but I just heard about Mickey, and I don't want that to happen to me. Can we maybe go to Seattle? Is that an option? I don't want to go to California. There's just too much going on over there. I think going east is just cursed currently. And Antoine, excuse me, just kind of nods at him. He's listening. He extends his hand out to him and kind of puts it on his forearm to reassure him. And he's just like, Andrew, please. Of course, we're friends. We go back some time. You know that you could have come to me directly, and I would have helped you at the drop of a hat. I don't have any friends left in Seattle that I could pull favors from. I do have some people that I could probably direct you towards in Colorado. And Andrew just shakes his head. Don't want to go east. And Antoine kind of nods. I understand. Look, you're flustered. You're anxious. I would be too. If I would have had 2 of my businesses burned. If you need a safe haven, you can go to my jazz club. Otherwise, I recommend cleaning out whatever's left of your... What's left, actually? And Andrew kind of stands up and he starts to kind of shake his hands, just kind of like rubbing them nervously. He's like, just have my antique shop left. And there's not much there, honestly. They've destroyed the actual laboratories that I had painstakingly worked on. And Antoine kind of nods, and he gets up as well, and he kind of just pats him on the shoulder 2 times, kind of gives him a smile, and he's just like, as I've said, you can feel free to stay at the jazz club. It has a couple of rooms just for this occasion, just for this kind of situation. Otherwise, I recommend that you go to one of your safe houses. Come back in a couple of nights and I'll have something for you by then. And Andrew kind of nods and shakes his hand excitedly. He's like, thank you, Mr. Davies. I don't have many friends left in the city. And Antoine kind of, you see just this toothy grin. You can see the fangs kind of a little bit longer than they should be. And he just smiles at him. Andrew, please, if nothing else, we're both British. And there's a little bit of a laugh between the 2 of them. As he escorts Andrew to the door, you see that the valet, the butler that kind of brought you guys in, is standing at the door about to knock. He kind of corrects himself. He's like, sir, apologies. You have an uninvited guest has appeared. Shall I prepare the previous room for you, sir? And he looks over. Antoine looks over at Andrew, kind of shakes his head. No. Andy, please, if you need anything, you know where to find me. Andrew nods. They shake hands. He walks past the valet. Antoine looks over at the human and he's like, Bernard, Sure, guest up here. I'm sure that I can find some time for them. And Bernard kind of nods and makes his way out into the rest of the country club. Is this enough for Melvin, or do you think he's going to try to push his luck?
Mm, I kind of want to push my luck.
Okay. Make another stamina and stealth roll for me then.
Because I don't like what I'm hearing, because I think there's ulterior motives. Come on, roll. Come on, roll. Come on, roll. All right. I got 3 successes. I got an 8, a 6, and a 9. And the 9 and the 8 are on the hunger die.
Nice. Okay. So you see him kind of turn around. He cleans up some of the things in the room, kind of makes it very, very simple. And as he finishes, he hears a knock at the door, and you see him kind of sit down almost regally. And you hear, "Come on in, Bernard." And the door opens, and the human that was there kind of enters, steps to the side, and he's just like, "Master Davies, may I present to you Miss Yvette Morrison?" And you see Yvette walk in. They kiss each other on the cheek, and then he kind of walks around and holds the chair out to her. She sits down. "Antoine, has been some time. Good." And he kind of, still standing in front of her, you see him kind of like stretch out his vest. He kind of brushes his sleeves to kind of clear off any dust or motes. And he's like, "Oh, I appreciate that, Yvette. What do I owe this, shall we call it an honor?" She kind of nods. I must apologize before anything else, Antoine. It has been too long, and I think it is mostly my fault. He's like, no, please, please. All of us were involved in that, and it is terrible what Geraldine has done to you. And she's like, she nods, and she's like, there was blame on all sides, Antoine, please. I'm here on sad news. Kind of sits down at this point. He's like, is it about your chowder, Miss Claremont? Word has gotten around to me, and I feel like I should apologize for her. I should have kept my eye on her a little bit more intently. And she shakes her head. She puts her hand on top of his. No, please. It is what no one could have foreseen what was going to happen. But it is about, funny you should mention, Geraldine, in fact. You've heard that she has put a blood hunt on me, and I can only ask that you try to reason with her, Antoine. I had nothing to do with bringing Reynolds out here from Los Angeles. I can assure you of that. I have everything that I have done because of what happened to Nicole. I loved her like a child. Antoine. He kind of nods. He's like, I know, I understand. I myself am loath to put my chowder out into the politics of the world. She nods. I want you to understand that whatever is happening with Grant Reynolds, Had nothing to do with it. I want nothing to do with it. And if I can help bring him in so that Geraldine can have some semblance of righteousness in her court, please know that I am at your service. He nods. I am thinking that I have overstayed my welcome in the city. I would like to leave, but given the situation that has happened to the east on the road to Chicago, and given that whatever truce Otis King and his coterie had worked up with the Lupines has soured, so travel out of Salem has become difficult, even for someone with my resources. And he kind of laughs and he's like, believe it or not, Ivy, you're not the first person to ask me to help them get out of the city. You obviously have priority. And her hand kind of slides up his arm to his face, and you see that there's a warmness there that you almost wouldn't believe from a kindred. It kind of speaks volumes about their relationship. But he gets up, he kisses her hand. Miss Morrison, I assure you, it is in my power to do so. I will get you out of Salem as safely as possible. If not for you, for your child who I could not protect. She stands up. She kisses his hand. And then very slowly you see them romantically embrace each other. There's a passionate kiss that happens here. It is not the kind of kiss on the cheek as a thank you. It is full on. Almost human. It's the most human you've ever seen Antoine, at least. And then she kind of pulls away. She puts her hand on his chin and she kisses his left cheek. I look forward to seeing you again. And kind of nods and he says something in what you imagine is French to her. And she smiles almost warmly, given the fact that you've heard nothing but like cold things about this woman. And she just brushes the curly bits of black hair that have come to the front of her right shoulder back. She nods at him one last time, and with a kiss on her cheek, he walks her to the door and escorts her out. And once the door closes, you see he loses all composure. He just kind of slides down the door, just with his hands in his hair, almost like he's just made a deal with the devil. And you see for the first time that he is disheveled. He unbuttons his vest, he tosses his tie off. It is quite a pivot from who he was before. Who he was with you, who he was with Andrew, who he was with Yvette, even. And he just kind of sits there with his hands in his, with his face in his hands.
Okay. I'm not going to push my luck. I think I've seen a good amount.
Yeah.
I feel like while he's got his hands in his face, or his face in his hands, I'm going to get out.
Okay. Where are you going to go after this whole situation has played out for you?
I will go to the alley because that's where we were headed, and I sent them with the van.
Okay. So are you going to huff it? Are you going to try to steal another car?
No, I'm not going to push. How much of a walk would it be?
Um, given where you are right now, you'd have to go from Minto Brown Island Park all the way up to kind of just about halfway to Kaiser. It's maybe going to take you 2 hours, hour and a half.
I don't want to risk stealing another car.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just hoof it.
All right. So you kind of do a nice little jog, a little trot, and you kind of get to make it there in a little bit over an hour, a little bit less than an hour and a half. And when you get there, you see that Samantha is standing outside with a gentleman, a little bit portly, long brown hair that's kind of tousled, a little bit of a beard that's growing in. Excuse me. Flannel shirt with the sleeves rolled up, just jeans. And they're looking at what looks to be a small crater in the side of her bar. Are you still invisible, or are you?
Yeah. I mean, once I'm in obfuscate, I'll try to be as inconspicuous as possible.
Okay.
But I mean, I'll walk up to I'll come out and of it.
Hmm.
I mean, unless maybe no. You know what? I won't, because people like to talk more when they think they're alone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just move up within earshot as quiet as possible.
Okay. So you come over and you hear her talking to him about what could have possibly have done this. You know, how she thinks maybe it was like some rogue kind of motorcycle that just kind of backed up and just hit a key point. And he's talking about how there's no way a motorcycle wheel would have done something like this. It looks too clean, too concave, too bold like. And he kind of like, he scoffs, but it's like this, it almost looks like, you know, somebody's fist kind of ran into the concrete. She laughs nervously and she kind of starts to look around. And in her looking around, you see her kind of stop in the direction that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of tilts her head. And then she kind of turns back to him. It's like, all right, Maddie, just, you know, let me know how much it's going to cost and we'll take care of it. If I have to, I'll talk to Gertrude about it. But and he's like, no, please. It's been a while since I've done any work on the building, but you know, you and I have a working relationship. You don't have to go through her. She
Now,
kind of,
Will, does he is he looking in the direction of me?
no.
Like if I were to like back up a little, okay. So if I'm gonna try to like back up a little bit, like into the dark, and like come out of it and just start walking forward.
Okay. She kind of nods as you approach, and she shakes his hand. She's like, "All right, just give me a call when you have an estimate, and we just move from there." And he nods. He kind of sees you. Kind of is taken aback a little bit by just the body that just came out of nowhere, kind of to him. And he's like, "Oh, sorry," and he walks around you towards what looks to be a kind of contractor's van. There's a couple of ladders on top of it. There's a couple of buckets that have been strapped down, things like that. And Sam, as he drives by, she kind of waves at him, and then she kind of looks at you. Oh, if you're here for your friends, they left not too long ago.
They were quick. I mean, it did take a while. Who'd you piss off? And I point over to the and I walk over and I do like that whole like detective like crouch at the hole, and I kind of just I kind of look at it.
Yeah. She scoffs and she's like, I don't think you heard of her. Name's Guernsey. Elizabeth Guernsey.
Name ring any bells to me?
No.
Okay.
She's got a mean left hook, if you know what I mean.
Luckily for her, I guess, and you're quick on your feet.
Yeah. Hey, is there a reason that your associates would have had a basket of VHS tapes?
Considering that I came here to look for something that had nothing to do with a movie, no.
All right. It's weird. I saw the girl with a basket of VHS tapes.
With those two, nothing surprises me.
Well, it's like that.
I literally laugh like that. I just go, sometimes, but they're both good kids.
She
Even though the other one's the annoying one's older than me.
She leans in and she's like, "Has there been any news on Mickey?"
Nothing yet, but there's something going on in the East. I'm hearing other folks, and I say it with an emphasis, saying that the East is cursed.
Yeah, there's a word out of Chicago is that the roads west are being called the Goblin Roads.
The Goblin Roads?
Yeah, so it's a warning.
I'm holding out in the hopes Mickey knew how to take care of himself.
Yeah, no, that's what I figured. He's a tough old guy.
But yeah, he it scares me sometimes what he can do for himself. But hey, Sam, if if you need anything, I'm a ring away.
Yeah. And as you say that, you hear a car horn honk and a car pulls up and you see Tulip get out, open the trunk, and pull out 2 duffel bags, and she kind of puts them on the ground in front of her. She kind of smiles at you. Hey, hey, Melvin.
Hey, Tulip. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. Did you get those folders?
I did. Appreciate it. That's part of the reason I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and she kind of points at the duffel bag. She kind of looks at Sam. She's like, "The Sheriff Greene wanted you to hold on to these for him." And she kind of looks down. She looks up at her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, of course. Because why not add fucking storage to my already stretched out business?" Yeah.
I mean, Sam, you are a woman of all trades. And I just smirk.
Yeah, she grabs both of them with one hand, tosses them over one shoulder. She's like, "There's a reason why Otis King has a whole fucking storage business. Those two need to fucking just get over their issues and just deal with being adults." And she kind of looks at you, Melvin. She's like, "Do you need anything else? I gotta put this shit away."
No, Sam. And Will, out of character, real quick. Her bar doesn't look down the alley, right?
No.
Okay. No, but do me a favor if you hear anything. You know me. I always like some information. I can scratch your back, you scratch mine. You know how it is.
Yeah. Sure.
And I'm a phone call away, Sam. You have a good night.
Yeah, she pats you on the shoulder. She walks inside. She kind of says goodbye to Tulip. Tulip stands there for a moment, kind of like staring at you. She's like, "So, is your coterie okay?"
I hope so. Looks like they made it a movie night. But
Well, I meant about Mickey because people talk. I mean, not that I'm listening. It's just that I heard about him. Are you okay?
kind of put my arm on. Yeah, I put my arm on her shoulder, and I'm like, never stop listening. That's how I do my business. And I go, I'm holding out. I'm keeping busy with my work. I did this when I was a detective too. You know, back in the day. And as long as you keep yourself in your work, a lot of times everything tends to work itself out. I'm trying to see if I can find out any information. Doesn't seem like people have a whole lot of understanding about what exactly is going on over there, or they're not saying it. But you know, I'm holding on. You know, Mickey was you know, he's my sire. It's
Yeah.
you know how it is.
Yeah. She kind of looks back at her car. She looks at you. Do you need a ride somewhere?
How far's the alley from here?
The alley's 2 streets down.
Okay. Um, you mind giving me just a couple minutes just so I could do a quick walkthrough of the area where those files you sent me were, but I could really use a ride after that. Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. Think you got the time?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, where are you going?
Couple blocks down that way. A couple streets down that way.
Oh. Okay. Let me go with you then, and she kind of locks up her car. I don't know if you've been out
All right.
here. There's somebody that kind of has claimed this area. He hasn't introduced himself to the court though, so it's kind of like, you know, I look after him because he's part of our clan.
Oh,
You know, clan before anything else, right?
absolutely.
She takes you down the street like that where you're going to, and there's a moment where she kind of stops. She holds out her hand, and you see that there's this little fluffy chartreuse of a cat. She kind of bends down. She's like, hi, Gustav. Could you tell Teddy that we're here? And the cat just kind of meows and rushes off into the alley that you're supposed to go into. And after a moment, you just hear, I appreciate you checking in with Gustav before just barging into the alley. It's very nice of you, Tulip. It's good to see you again. And as she enters the alley, she kind of motions for you to follow, and you see, with the obfuscation dropping, there is this monstrous, almost 7-foot tall man, elongated, just hands and legs and fingers, bat-like face, kind of scrunched up and in. The ears kind of look very bat-like, but kind of folded into the head, and just a ridge line on his forehead. No hair. The kind of tattered queen shirt, the open denim vest, the sleeveless trench coat, and just these really long pants that come to frayed ends where his long kind of non-human looking feet are. And he kind of looks down at you. You see him extend. He kind of holds out his hand and waves at you. Hello, new friend.
Hello, Teddy.
He
My
nods.
understanding. Melvin Wright.
Melvin, it's good to meet you.
And I tip my hat to him. I'm like, the pleasure's all mine, Teddy.
With his nice
Good to
hat.
see a fellow clanman. Appreciate it. It's a nice accent.
He picks up the chartreuse, kind of starts to scratch behind its ears with his long fingers. It's like, what brings you to Teddy's corner? How can I help you?
Well, wanted to just kind of take a look around. It's my understanding. Tulip gave me some information about an incident that happened here with one specific individual.
Oh, everybody seems to be interested in this situation. It's good for Teddy.
Everybody.
Yeah, there were two people earlier, a professor and maybe his student. It's a young girl.
Did he talk with a British accent?
Oh yes, he was imperialist for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's Albert.
Yes, this sounds correct.
Yeah, the other one's Connie. She's a sweetheart.
Yes, very nice to Gustav.
Yeah, they're part of my my coterie here.
Good. They are good people.
That they are. So they already came by here and spoke to you, Ted?
Yes, they spoke to Teddy.
So what if you don't mind me asking,
Yes.
What brings you out here? I know Tulip and I lower my voice a little bit. She did mention that there was kind of not an announcement that was made.
Yes, and he kind of motions to his size and his features, and he's just like, Teddy has found that there are really no places for him anymore. So Teddy has chosen not to participate in the tower. He's a facade. Teddy has no time for parlor tricks and games. Politics are for mortals.
You don't know how much I agree with you on that.
And you just see him kind of like bring the cat up to his mouth, and he just gives it a really just warm, very kind of fatherly kiss, and then he puts it down very gently.
So what brings you out here, Teddy? Obviously, you didn't really want to come to this area.
No, it's I have left Los Angeles because things have gotten dangerous there. There's no place for Teddy anymore. Teddy has lost his friends.
Seems like there's a lot of people from that area coming this way. What do you mean by dangerous, if you don't mind me asking? And said you lost some friends. And you said you're headed to Chicago?
I was going to go to Chicago, but things have become very dangerous from what I have heard. There was another Nosferatu that went and has gone missing, so Teddy has started to look for other options.
Yeah, that was my sire, actually.
Oh, Teddy is sorry.
I'm holding out hope.
Hmm.
If you do hear anything, though, his name was Mickey.
Oh,
That's what he went by.
like Mouse.
Yeah, like the mouse.
Yes.
And I smirk.
He smiles, and you just see this jagged maw of like shark-like teeth. Like it's endearing, but at the same time, it's frightening.
Yeah, he's like super monster.
Yeah.
Like, that I'm even like, oh.
Yeah.
So Teddy, why is Los Angeles dangerous?
It is. It is fallen. The tower is no longer as strong as it was there. There is conflict in the streets. The anarchs are trying hard to claim it, but there is also third faction that frightens Mickey, that frightens Teddy. Has forced him to kind of rethink his home.
What's that third faction?
He kind of leans down, so he's face to face with you. And he's like, "Have you heard of old vampires called Quaijin?"
Have I?
No.
I usually pride myself on information, Teddy, and I don't seem to have that.
You see him clap his grotesquely large hands together. Teddy likes when he gets to introduce his new friends to new information. It's Teddy's joy in life. Huijin are, and he kind of, again, leans in. Vampires from the West. You're not like us. And he kind of holds up his two spindly fingers up to his mouth like fangs. They are strange. Teddy has seen one of them even siphon life essence through massage. It's frightening.
And are they is it your understanding that they're pushing in from the west?
They are pushing in, yes. They said that they have claimed one of the other coastal cities. Teddy apologizes, he was not paying attention.
No problem. Okay.
He's funny. Teddy knows they tried before. Maybe some years ago. But they did not. Their hold did not stick. Seems that now they are trying again. This time they are actually gaining ground.
Are you going to be okay out here?
Oh
In the
yes.
alley?
Yes. Teddy has claimed that the riverfront district. Then he kind of leans into you again and he's just like, Teddy apologizes for some of the deaths that have happened here. They're on him.
There's one in particular that I'm here about.
Oh yes, yes. They said man was folded in half.
And I look him from like bottom to up, like the size, and I go, and you wouldn't have anything to do with that one.
No, that one was not me.
Were you here when it happened by any chance?
Not here in alley, but I was over there, and he kind of like goes over to the opening of the alley, and he points down the street.
So you didn't see anything?
No. Unfortunately, Teddy did not witness the act, but the nice man with the business suit, he was the only one that Teddy saw go in and out of alley.
Can you give me a description of this nice man?
Oh, he's maybe smaller than Teddy. He kind of gives you that big smile again. He's like, everyone's smaller than Teddy. Black hair, much gray, bit of beard. It's a shame, it could be good beard, but doesn't look like it's going to grow in anytime.
Is that ringing any bells to me?
The only one that remotely comes across, like there's two. There's Thomas Reginald Hyde, or there's also Erickson Wood.
Okay. Or Erickson Wood. Okay. Okay, so I asked Teddy, do you mind? Obviously, I don't want to disrespect the area you claimed. I just want to take a quick look around in the alley to see if I catch anything that my friends may have not caught, and then I'll be out of your way in about 5 minutes.
He nods, and you see him climb on top of one of the dumpsters and just kind of sit there perched like a gargoyle. And he whistles, and you see the other two cats of his kind of come out, and all three of them kind of climb up onto the dumpster with him.
Okay.
You have access to the whole alley. I don't know what you might find that your friends have missed.
We can see. And I smirk.
All right. Go ahead and roll your wits and investigation.
Alrighty, let's see how this goes. Because my wits and investigation is a 7.
A good dice pool.
That's what I like to see when I'm investigating. All right. So
Hmm.
I've got 7 on my hunger dice. I got a 4 and a 7.
Hmm.
I got a 6, a 6, a 7, a 7, and a 10.
Okay.
Or a 1. Sorry.
Okay. So you kind of see the new trash can that Connie had spotted. You kind of see the blood splatter by it. You see that there's an extra top to the trash cans that are there. But you also see that there is what looks to be one of those little um, brackets on either side of the trash can to kind of hold it.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that kind of looks like it's been torn off forcibly from one of the trash cans. There's a bit of traffic that is kind of making its way that has come into the alley, but you do notice that there's one single dug in footprint that has kind of escaped some of the alley traffic. It looks like a decently good shoe. Like it's not a it is not a tennis shoe or like a loafer. It's something nice.
Okay. I gotta just get up. I go walk over to Teddy,
Hmm.
and I take my hat off, and I go. Respectfully, I thank you again. Put the hat back on.
Nods.
Like, feel free to look me up if you need anything while you're here. And Tulip knows how to find me. And I
Teddy
look over.
Teddy would like one of your hits, similar hat if possible. It's a good hit.
I'm sure I have multiple of this hat, right? I'm sure I've collected.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So I take it off and I give it to him.
You see him, just his eyes start to become watery, his smile just grows exponentially, and he slowly kind of descends off of this what's it called, dumpster, and he looks at you and in his best kind of very soft tone, I will treasure this always. Thank you for this, my new friend. And he slowly kind of wraps his long arms around you in a hug.
Ooh, you're gross.
Yeah.
No, I don't say that. But
Um,
I hug him back. I kind of however I can get
yeah.
around him,
Yeah.
and I pat. I do the
And he just whispers into your ear, he's just like, you will be the first of Teddy's new friends in the city.
If you hear anything, especially about Mickey, please reach out.
I will start to ask questions. And you see him put on the hat. And he's like, because now I am detective.
That you are, Teddy. I look at Tulip and I just go, all right, let's get out of here. Can take me back to the diner.
And she nods. And
all right, Teddy.
As you guys pull into the diner, you see that Sheriff Greene is pulling out. Kind of stops. He lowers the window. Tulip lowers her window. And he looks at it and he's just like, oh, ain't this a fucking treat? I know the two of you were fucking dating.
She likes my smile.
He rolls his eyes and he's just like, the other two are in there. I left a file folder with some stuff. They'll bring you up to speed.
I'm still working. I have a couple leads on that alley situation.
I mean, the professor seems to think that the ex-senator did it. And he kind of holds up the basket of VHS tapes. Said there's proof in here, so I'm gonna go take a look.
And in my head, I just go to myself, that was fast. I'm
No.
like, you sure you don't want, did they go through that already, or do you want us to go ahead and look through that for you?
Not that I know of. They just gave me the tapes, so I'm gonna have some people go through it.
You sure you don't want me to take those off your hands? And we can always take them over to you.
He's like, whatever you think. I've already given you another task, so I don't want to burden you with too many things.
I like to see some things through. I can multitask. I've got, you know us, and I look at Tulip and I'm like, we're resourceful.
Yeah, I guess. And he kind of will very carefully as possible kind of pull the basket through his window, hand it over to Tulip, who then pulls it in through her window and then hands it to you.
Cool. I grab it. I go, all right, Sheriff.
Be safe out there. And he drives
You too.
off. Tulip pulls up. Kind of like, do you want me to go inside with you, or are you going to be okay from here on in?
Nah, we're fine. I'm fine here, Tulip.
Okay.
You as always are an invaluable resource.
I try.
And you know that this place is always open to you.
Okay. Thanks, Melvin.
All right, Tulip. You have a good night and be safe out there, all right?
Hey, you too. Once you get out, she drives off.
I go to tip my hat and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. The other two, as Albert slowly comes to terms with the fact that his world has literally crumbled around him. A hatless Melvin walks into the diner. The coffee pot, the kind of carafe of coffee that usually sits on the edge of your table, you see that Albert has kind of dropped it. There's a moment where he's just kind of staring off into space. But Melvin has come back in with a basket of VHS tapes that you had taken from the pawn shop.
I leave you all alone for 2 hours, and I point down at the coffee. We've had this place for a day. You're already making a mess out of it. Tisk tisk.
Wait, where have you been? And why are you? How? Why do you have the tapes? Do you know what we went through to get those tapes?
No, but I'd kind of like to see what's on them before it gets into the hands of people that won't be honest with us about what's on them.
See you though. Had a fun trip.
Great to see. Oh, we need to talk.
Okay.
I've had quite a day, quite an evening. And I walk up to Albert and I just go like this in front of his face. You all right, buddy?
No.
Give me-
I look back.
Give me a wits and awareness roll, Jeff, please.
Oh.
Okay.
As his gaze comes down onto the file folder.
2 successes.
You see that there's a picture that looks to be taken from maybe the other side of a street of a woman. And you remember seeing her face in the newspaper a couple of nights ago outside the Orpheus. It was the woman that was standing next to who he claimed was his ghoul.
And didn't you, out of character, you said it was your daughter?
Yeah.
You told us that, right?
Yeah, we opened up about both of our mutual flaws.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Masquerade breach. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, that's your daughter.
I'm crying blood.
Yep.
Just crying.
I grab him and I take him into the back immediately, like in case there's customers there.
There's one customer. He has his back to you guys.
All right. I'm like, Valerie doll.
He nods.
What was her nickname again? I forgot. I have to look in my notes.
Val.
Val. It was just Val.
Yeah.
Like Val doll, and I kind of put my eyes down to the coffee.
You got it. I'll get there.
And I look at Connie too, and I'm like,
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I follow.
Okay.
I sit Albert in the office,
Okay.
and I look at you and I go, what the fuck is happening?
Someone turned my daughter.
Do you know who?
No, that's our job.
That's the folder Greene gave you.
Yeah.
He
Oh.
thinks she may be a K thief.
Do I know what that is?
Yep, that's clanless.
There's her and two
Who-
others. So we have to find who their sires are or what they could possibly be.
She's in serious shit right now. Not of any fault of her own, but being a K thief is no joke.
I'm very well aware of that.
Is there a possibility that we could, if we find her, can can she join a clan? Could she join yours? As
I don't know out of character. Well, I don't know what
Yeah, where did
or in character. If should know that.
It's very rare that KTF are allowed to join a clan, unless their sire is known and their clan heritage is known. It is very rare for a clan to adopt a KTF. Like once you're a KTF, you are branded as such.
It's harder than easier. It all depends. It's more important now than ever to find out who her sire is. That has a big role in it. And I look down at the tapes, and I just kind of put them down, and I go, obviously, this is going to be a priority for us.
I need you both to know right now if I can't put her down if we have to.
I wouldn't ask you to.
If it comes down to it, I'm probably going to try and leave with her.
I didn't hear anything you just said.
Oh, if it comes down.
That,
Oh, that's in character? Was that in character or out of character?
Yes. No, that was in
Okay.
character.
Okay.
Like I kind of did the sarcastic, like I don't know what you're saying.
you know, it might be better. Let's not assume that's gonna happen.
I don't
Right
really have
now,
any
we just
interest
need
in
to
this.
focus on finding her, making sure she's safe, and figuring out what's on the tapes, right?
Now, right before we go on with what obviously is going to be a priority for us, and I look at you and I'm like, it's obviously going to be a priority for us. I also had an eventful evening. Connie, you asked why I just left abruptly. I double backed to Malcolm Davies's place.
Oh.
There's a reason Mr. Gibbons was there, and I felt it was probably going to be an important thing for us to know. There, and I just like kind of rub my mask. I'm just like, it was very interesting. He's pretty sure he's being hunted by somebody.
Oh, he is.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that how?
The gentleman came up to us in the alley.
What? Okay, who? What's his name? Who's the gentleman?
I get his name.
It wasn't it Val's husband?
No, that was the ghost.
No, it was the Indian or the Brit. It was like a Middle Eastern guy.
Saif Kajar.
Mm-hmm.
Najar.
Saif Kajar.
Najar.
Kajar?
Najar. And
Najar. Oh, why do I have a K?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Because you got it wrong.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Okay.
He's in the
Do I
people
recognize
know.
that name?
No. Actually, you know what?
Okay.
Give me an intelligence and streetwise.
Okay. So I missed on both of my hunger dice. I got an 8, a 10, and 2 4s. So 2 successes.
Okay. Saif Najar is a name that you've heard in passing.
Okay.
You know that he is a hunter of sorts. He's not an orthodox hunter. Like, he hunts kindred, but he himself is a kindred.
So he's like Blade.
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay. So he's kind of like the big gun that people call in when they need another vampire killed.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, he's the big time when it comes to hiring somebody to take out another vampire.
Well, then someone really wants Mr. Gibbons gone.
So what did your conversation entail with you guys?
Oh, easy. You smell like Gibbons. Oh, do I? Where is he? I don't particularly know. I have not seen him, but you smell like him. You know where he is. And then I pointed in the general direction of the estate. And then he left.
So Givens
Okay.
may not have made it out of there alive. He was terrified, guys. He was willing to trade his antique shop for passage out of here.
Oh.
He was trying, and apparently the East is now considered cursed territory. He's trying to head to Seattle.
Might not do him any good.
Now I do know where he's going to be right now, or where he's going to be hiding out, because Mr. Davies did tell him about his jazz club, and there were some special rooms in there for this kind of situation.
Are you suggesting we go see him or we sell him out?
Well, that's for us to decide. You haven't heard the whole story yet, though.
Oh,
And I smirk.
Does it get better or worse?
So the meeting got interrupted because of an uninvited, unannounced guest.
Okay.
Me being the person I am, I stayed there a little longer, and Yvette Morrison walked in.
Melvin, this evening can't keep getting bad.
You mean the
Apparently-
Yvette Morrison?
The
Gonna-
Yvette Morrison, Blood
talk
Hunt
for
by
myself.
Geraldine Yvette Morrison. Apparently her and Davies are a thing.
Like
What do you mean a thing?
mutual
Like his
friends?
tongue was inside her tongue.
Inside her tongue? Her tongue in this they
Like they were
It's
doing tongue
it's like
mouth thing.
stigmata, but for the tongue.
Oh.
And I give Albert a towel so he can wipe the blood off his face while I'm talking to him.
Why me?
Yeah, and I go, she made some serious claims.
How serious?
That's making me
we talk?
question a lot of what's going on. I'm pretty good at reading people. She's adamant she has nothing to do with Grant Reynolds. She says that everything she did was for Nicole and because of what happened to Nicole.
Okay.
If you remember what the crazy Malkavian said sometime back when he was doing the whole jibbity jabbity jubbity jubbity thing, he did talk about a woman getting it was, let me see, I have here, taking her daughter. She's going to burn the city. So it could very well be exactly what Yvette Morrison. But there could be truth to what she's saying. But her and Grant Reynolds were both running in the same circles in LA. She wants to get out, and Davis basically seemed to forget entirely the conversation he had just had with Mr. Givens, and told him that she was his top priority to get out of the city. Now, I know he said he needed at least a couple days to sort everything out, so that's probably going to ring true for Givens or Yvette. So that's another decision we have to make on, do we believe her and let her go, or do we sell her out too?
It's difficult because if we are able to capture Miss Morrison or bring her in, that grants us a very large boon.
But what if she's telling the truth and Geraldine doesn't want to hear it? It may behoove us to speak to her.
It may. Are you finished with your night? Because Connie and I also had an interaction from the west.
Well, I met a very nice gargantuan named Teddy,
Oh, I love Teddy!
Hey.
the
Oh,
cat guy.
he is
He's
so wonderful.
That's why I
Yeah.
don't have a hat. He liked my hat, and I
Did you
liked
give
Teddy.
him your
So
hat?
Oh.
Oh, that's so kind of you.
When Teddy likes a hat, you give him the hat.
It's good because you have 4 more of almost the exact same hat. It's wonderful.
he really enjoyed it, and he gave nice hugs. So obviously you guys met Teddy. So
Yes.
you know the whole deal. He's came from LA. I
Yes.
dug a little more into it, and because he's headed to Chicago too. So it seems like this mass exodus of the folks from the tower isn't just out of Salem. It's at least we know of Los Angeles, and he said one other port city, but he didn't remember the name of it. Could be San Francisco. Could be San Diego. Who knows?
What's happening in the west that's causing this migration?
Yeah.
So it looks like the tower's pretty much done for over there. Down there.
Really?
There's the Anarchs are getting a firm stronghold, but there's a new clan of vampires that I've never heard of. Teddy gave me some of that information. They're called the Quajin.
I don't know anything about them.
They seem to be coming from the west, so I'm guessing they're of some kind of Asian descent, given the name, and simple geography. But they seem to be the real fucking deal, guys. He told me a story about somebody giving a massage and sucking the soul out of somebody just from a
What?
massage.
What?
I don't know of any fucking vampire that can do that.
Are you
That's
sure they're vampires?
Teddy referred to him as a clan.
interesting.
Also got a little bit of, not really a whole lot of info, but apparently the east where Mickey went is now they're dubbing it the Goblin Roads. And seems like everybody's calling him cursed, including Mr. Givens and Yvette Morrison. I still have a feeling Mickey's alive, and I look at Albert, and I'm like, I apologize, but what about you guys? That's basically the. Oh, one other thing, I did a little digging in the alley.
Oh.
Um,
The same alley that we went to?
Yeah, I went there because I thought that's where we were meeting up. But
Oh.
I seem to have just missed you, according to Samantha. Told me about. Oh, that's another thing I saw. I ran into Samantha. There was a big ass hole in her bar. She told me
Ooh.
about somebody by the name of uh, Guernsey or something like that was
Well,
responsible for it.
I
Yeah,
met Guernsey.
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm
She's
glad you guys are okay.
she's more my clan and a
That
very good
explains the
friend of
whole.
Grant Reynolds.
Interesting.
However, I think this means that he may be topped off when it comes to the Sombra. So that makes two
I
of us
look
who
at
are safe.
I look at Connie and I go, it's still not three of us that are safe. The last little bit of info that I found, when I said I went to the alley, did a little bit of digging. I found some of the blood splatter. I found a new trash can that they had replaced.
Mhm.
It looks like one of the trash cans had a bracket that was completely ripped off, like superhuman strength, clean ripped off. The
Hmm.
one thing that did kind of stick with me though is I did see an imprint of a very nice dress shoe.
You want to make a mold of it?
I mean, we can.
I think we
We
should.
know now. Teddy did tell me he did see somebody coming out of the alley around the time of the murder,
Who,
which
who
narrows it
did
down
he
to
tell
two
you?
suspects.
Who did he
Well,
tell you? Because I spoke to a ghost.
I give you guys the description that the beard, the stuff, and I go, there's only two people that match that description, and it's the racist who gave us this restaurant,
And the other is a certain ex-senator.
Erickson Wood. Yeah,
I ran the description through the ghost I met in the alley.
okay,
It's confirmed.
that it's Erickson Wood.
Yes.
And I look at the tapes. I'm like, I think we need to look at the tapes. That's why I took him back from the sheriff because, and I look at you guys and I kind of point to myself. I'm like, if anybody would know, knowledge is power in this world. If we gave him those tapes and without seeing them, God only knows what excuses or lies they would have made. Maybe it's something we want to make a copy of on one of our tapes
I
and keep it as
physically
collateral.
can't look at them.
How about
can.
you, Connie? Do you have a okay?
I can.
Well, we have the date, so we can probably narrow down the cassettes to that, but I think we should knock this out first, give a full report to the sheriff, and then we can tackle your problem, unless
And
you want to
we
do some digging yourself.
okay, I have an idea. Let's break it up like this. Drop me at my old apartment. Would that be on the way to or from the alley?
It would not be. You would have to take a detour to go towards the alley if you're heading towards your apartment.
But they could easily go to my apartment, then to the alley, and then back to Melvin.
Yeah, they'd have to go back across the bridge into Salem proper to drop you off. And on the way back to West Salem, they could stop at the alley.
My idea is if you drop me off at my apartment, I have a feeling she may be hanging around there, presuming I may be coming back. Because she doesn't have a place of her own, so she's probably staying. Because normally she would stay with me. If not, she might be staying with young Melissa. I could talk to her, ease her into this, while you make an imprint of the boot and begin to look through the tapes, because I'm going to be useless with the tapes anyway.
Well, that
Let
gives us
me.
something to do.
Well, since you guys already know my situation, I could make a call to, and I just say my contact.
Yes.
she kind of has the resources to specialize in that kind of thing.
And what kind of thing?
Because I don't have the stuff to make an imprint.
Right.
We just need to make a small thing of concrete.
Yeah, wouldn't you just need, yeah, you just science stuff. You could make one out of cornstarch and water.
No, if you guys know how to do that,
Just making a mold.
We could probably figure it out.
okay.
I have some. I'm
I'm game.
relatively good at science, so I'm sure
I
there's a
think
way
it's a good
to get with household items.
On a
Yeah.
scale of 1 to 5, I have a 4 in science.
So do we want to not look at the tapes right now? I kind of don't want to leave these here.
If
Well,
we look at
here's
the look at the tapes here, we have to unplug the security system.
exactly, and that was made very clear by Val, and it seemed like that was a bad idea. That's why we just went ahead and made a choice to give the tapes over to the sheriff because we didn't think we would have a place to review the tapes unless somebody has a VH. Is that what are these things called?
VHS?
The VHS. I don't know if because I think I had a TV and I do have a TV in my Haven. I don't know, Will, if I have a VHS in there.
Even odds in your favor.
Oh.
Odds.
10. There's no VHS there. There is a Betamax.
Okay.
Does Josh
Oh,
still have a
can
VHS?
does Josh maybe have one?
Even odds in your favor.
Even
9. He also has a Betamax.
so we would have to
Okay.
either buy one or rent one.
Why don't we just disconnect it why don't we find the tape for the date and just disconnect it
You know
for
what?
the short time that we look through it?
I'll go stand outside.
Okay.
I tell you guys, let's be honest. What's the recording going to do to protect us?
I just don't like the odds because every time we do something, something happens.
So,
I'm-
I start going through the cassettes, Will, and I just say, don't overthink it. Let's just figure this out.
The
I'm just gonna go stand outside because I can't
Okay.
look at the tapes anyway.
Okay.
the cassettes are set up in 3-day intervals.
Okay.
So you find the cassette for the 3 days in question.
Okay.
You turn off the security system, so it stops recording. It defaults to the original kind of television station. Excuse me. And you notice that there is a rerun of the news from earlier in the evening that talks about they show the images of the Orpheus Theater. They show all of these are during the day, of course. They show that there is a new group that is donating $10,000 to the renovation and reconstruction process. The little ticker at the bottom, as it zooms in on the spokesperson for the company, has the name Li Min Baoju. The company's name is the Xiaolong Group.
Mm-mm.
What group?
Xiaolong.
Jala. Oh, okay.
They're here.
I guess they've arrived.
I think we need to move this along as quick as possible.
But you put in the cassette, you kind of view it, you fast forward through most of it, and there's no evidence of Erickson Wood doing this. The only thing that you get from the vantage point that you have is that you get to see the trash can in question flying from one alley to another across the street. It's almost like an almost perfect spiral quarterback toss.
Hmm. Guess we just weren't at the right angle. What do we do?
But it is a crushed up trash can.
Well, if we're gonna go back to the alley to get the imprint, maybe that trash can's still there.
Yeah. All right.
All right, I'll put on the security system again,
Okay.
and we'll take the tape, and I'll take it with me.
Okay. Albert is still standing outside the office when you come out.
It happened. But I'm ready.
Doesn't show much, except the flying trash can.
That's it?
Yeah.
Bugger.
We'll have to go back to the alleyway at some point and see if we can find where this particular trash can landed or something.
At this point, it's about 4 o'clock in the morning.
We need to find a place to rest.
Well, are you planning on staying at your apartment, or do you want to come back to my haven, or go to Josh's house? I'm not talking to Albert at this point, because Connie and I can go wherever.
It's 4 a.m. What time is sunrise?
About 5:15, 5:20.
There's not enough time to get that imprint.
So I think we should just go back either to Josh's or to the haven, and just do this tomorrow.
I think we should all just be in one place tonight together, and then first thing in the morning make this imprint, because that will be what helps us.
We also have 2 days before Givens or Morrison have an out, so we need to make a decision on that.
Do we know if did he send it Morrison to the jazz club as well, or just Gibbons?
He didn't specify. One other thing I forgot to mention, though. The moment he closed the door behind her, the man that I saw in that room is not the man that we've been seeing at the Elysium or in front of us or in front of other people. That is a man that was broken down. That's a man that realized that he's done something.
I think we have 3 choices here. We have, and I say this as like we're walking to the van.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we have 3 choices here then. We can either alert Gibbons to what's going on and get his favor, and we're getting him to the top of Davies. We can assist the Davies in getting both out of the city, or we can somehow try and help Morrison to clear her name.
I don't like the idea of helping Morrison try to leave the city because she has a blood hunt on her. They show that we helped. We're done for.
I
Especially
think
if we're directly part of the search party.
If we can find information that'll prove, in fact, what she's saying is true, that may clear her name up with Geraldine. She did tell Davies that she was even willing to help bring Reynolds down. I don't know about you, but that seems like somebody that seems like another powerful person that we can use to ultimately clear out this area and really claim it for our own.
hear me out. We know that this Saif Najjar is after Gibbons. What if we use this mouse of Reynolds to catch the cat named Gibbons, but Gibbons is caught using the dog named Saif. So we get the 3. So we get we try and get Gibbons to help us take down Reynolds. But in doing so, Saif will go after Gibbons, and because Gibbons is going after Reynolds, Saif will probably want Gibbons, that name. He would probably want, I am the one who killed Gibbons. So he will then go after Reynolds as well. So that's now 2 after Reynolds. And then somehow we also get Yvette Morrison to agree to help take down Reynolds. So that's now 3 people who are remotely stronger than us taking down Reynolds, while we Stand far away.
We don't know who hired him
Oh, we
to kill Givens.
have absolutely no idea, but it's an idea. Not all hypotheses will result in a factual or correct statement, but they are not hypotheses unless you try.
What if we went up to Gibbons and gave him the information and tell him exactly who's hunting him and telling him that we are aware of who's hunting him? Maybe that in turn will give us some leverage. Also, the fact that we can give him up without a problem.
Could
So
work.
we can use it as a threat as well.
If he asks, if anything, I don't know. I think it could work.
It only will work if we are good enough at not showing the strings to the puppeteering that is going on here. Though it satisfies a lot of the motives behind the actions that we've been asked to do, it could be very dangerous for us if one of those parties is privy to us having extra information and posting, the right bait in the right areas for the right predators. Could be fun.
What if we blackmailed Davies? And he doesn't have to know it's us.
Who would he
How do you
think it is?
suggest?
He gets a message from an unknown party telling him he's been a naughty boy, as you Brits like to say,
You cheeky
and that we
bastard.
know
Boy.
and that we know that he's helping Yvette Morrison, and unless he helps, Geraldine's going to get a nice bit of information that one of the people under her command is actually not only helping Yvette Morrison, but romantically involved with Yvette Morrison. We have a lot of leverage on a lot of people right now.
Yeah.
I'm of the belief that we may be able to just go up to Yvette Morrison and tell her that we know that she's not in cahoots with Reynolds, that we know that she's been getting a bad rap, and that it could very well be somebody else pulling strings to put it on her.
But where is Yvette Morrison?
Well, she might very well be at the jazz club too. He did say there was a couple of rooms there.
Did he mention that to her?
He didn't, but
I think she's in hiding well enough.
With the amount of tongue that was interchanged between the two of them, I'm sure she knows about the jazz club.
But I don't think she'd risk it. I think.
What if we I don't want to say the term blackmail, because what I'm thinking is not necessarily blackmail. But what if we were to tell Davies we know about Morrison,
We want
but that
help.
we want to help Morrison because we believe that she is not involved with Reynolds?
Think it only hurts us the more people know what we know. Because now that gives Davies the opportunity to say they were aware of this. They knew about Yvette Morrison. And they're trying to pin it on me. I think
We have a lot of outs here.
We do.
We have options with Givens, we have options with Davies, and we have options with Morrison.
I think we should try and lure Davies out and tail him to Morrison. I have a feeling he knows where she hides.
It looks like making an appearance in the jazz club could be helpful for us either way.
But that might just take us to Gibbons.
Yeah.
And even then, if you were in the same room as Gibbons, that means there's a good chance that Saif Najjar could be coming after you as well, just because he's following the scent. And
So
when
now
that happens, what do we do? Do we say, oh, go to the jazz club? Because I have a very strong feeling that he knows when one is lying.
a good point.
Well, here's the other issue that you just made me realize. What if he's what if we don't even have an option to talk to Davies because you sent him over there and he's killed now because he didn't give out information about Givens to Sharif or to Saif, sorry. Because you sent him there. He wasn't there when I left, but I left a little because Will, the Morrison conversation wasn't that long after Davies left, right? Or Givens left.
No, not at all. Maybe like 15 minutes at the most.
Yeah, so it was a 15-minute difference. So there was plenty of between the time that you spoke to Saif and I left, he probably was over there.
If Antoine Davies is dead, Yvette Morrison is going to be looking for someone to get her out of the city. I have an idea. And it's going to involve our very new friend, Erickson, and his coterie. Because isn't the biker gentleman, doesn't he have ways to get people in and out of the city through the motorcycle gang?
He does.
Okay, hold on. I think this works if Antoine Davies is really dead. We need to find out. Because if he's dead, we can somehow funnel to what was his name? Andreas?
Mhm.
We get information to him that that there's a particular person in this area who's trying to get out of the city. He gets to her. He hold on. We might be able to take down a murderer and solve a problem that we've been tasked with. Because if that coterie is caught smuggling Yvette Morrison out, the tapes won't matter. Because a lot of proof is already there. However, this doesn't solve our Grant Reynolds issue. This only solves the find Yvette Morrison problem. And then
Yeah,
there's still
I don't
Gibbons.
I don't have the same issue you do. Mustang and Andres were even Erickson was actually pretty nice to me, and the Free Souls have a direct information regarding what happened to Mickey. So I don't want to cut that tie
It's just
by any
Erickson
means.
rubbing me the wrong way.
And you know what? I have a job to do. So if we can prove definitively that it was him, which it seems like it is, whatever happens, happens. He's the one that chose murder. So it's off my hands. But I got no problem with Mustang and Andres.
No, they were very nice.
Like I said, I don't have no problem with Erickson. But if he committed murder, you commit the crime, you do the time. That's the way I look at it. So, but now we have this added concern of, did you send this guy? You sent this guy over to Davies now. So
Is Davies dead?
is Davies dead?
Or is this guy dead?
That's the issue.
Who's driving and where are you going?
I'm no. If I'm back, I'm driving.
Okay.
We're taking him to his apartment. I think, right? Is that where you wanted to go?
I know. I thought we were all gonna crash at your
Oh, that's right.
Wherever we go,
Yeah.
we should be all crashing together.
Yeah.
I
So
guess.
if we go to your apartment, we're crashing there. If we're going to
Where's closer?
From the diner, Josh's house is closest.
All right, so we'll just go to Josh's.
let's go then.
You pull up to Josh's house and you can see that the front door is ajar.
Uh,
I think someone's home.
And you can see that there's a shadow of somebody moving inside.
I got a 6 on my rouse check to go invisible.
So you're just gonna park, get out of the car, and then just because nobody's watching you, you just become invisible?
Yes.
Okay.
Am I alive still, Will?
Yes. Yes, you are.
okay, well, I may have to do something similar because this is where I live. Somebody could be looking for me.
I'm gonna pop on Shadow Cloak.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Use your tenebration.
Oh God. Oh no.
I'm just going to.
What?
All right, I'm gonna activate the I'm gonna activate my Silence of Death and I'm gonna activate my Eyes of the Beast.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna activate Eyes of the Beast also.
As you guys are kind of like gearing up, you guys are getting ready, you're kind of like in different parts of this car, on the sidewalk, outside the house. The door opens, and you see Calliope come out.
Oh. I turn it off
Okay.
and stay very still and quiet.
You see that she
So,
comes out with a purpose, like she's sniffing the air, and she kind of looks in Albert's direction.
oh great.
I uncloak because she knows me. I'm like,
Yeah.
you scared us, Calliope.
Yeah, hi.
Good to see you again.
My hands
Right.
stay up the whole time.
Yeah. I was hoping you would bring him, so I would know when you arrived. And she leans back inside the house. They are here.
Hmm?
And from inside the house, Joshua steps out. And you just see him kind of like look over the three of you, and then he stops when he looks at Connie. It's good to see you. You're alive, you know.
I'm gonna do like I'm gonna be like a 6-year-old and I'm just gonna like run in his direction and kind of like bear hug him from the middle.
Yeah. And you
And I'd
can
be like,
feel his hands kind of like coming up on your shoulders and just kind of reciprocating the hug. Okay.
it's like for a moment I forget about everything else we've learned about it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
what do you what what's happening? Why are you here?
came to pick up some things and and you see she kind of puts her hand on his shoulder. You must tell her. And he nods.
Tell me what?
Want to warn you, get out of West Salem. Calliope and her pack are laying claim to the city again.
Where am I where are we supposed to go?
I here, and you see him. He goes back inside the house, and he comes out with what looks to be a beautiful headdress of ivory. It's like a circlet. This is a symbol of boon that I was given. This should be enough to kind of set you up. If all three of you are moving around together, I think it should set all three of you up. Take this to Anna. Anastasia Richards to take care of you.
Wait, then where are you going?
I've got to go back with Callie.
Can I talk to you somewhere
Sure.
privately?
Yeah. And he kind of looks over at Callie. He's like, hey, I'm going to need a minute. And she nods at him and then immediately turns her attention to Albert.
You can go back in the van. It's all right.
I actually want to talk to Calliope once
Okay.
Connie finishes her conversation with Joshua.
Right.
I'm going to go into the van.
Where it's safe.
Yeah, werewolves can't get into vans. You're right.
No.
It's made of pure silver.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Silver nitrate.
Yeah, silver nitrate.
So you get some time with Josh, and he's just like I'm sorry about all of this.
Don't be sorry. But you know what? Yes, be sorry. Because this sucks. Everything sucks. Everything that we've had to do has sucked.
Yeah.
People after you.
Yeah.
And they all look at me. They all look at me and they're like, oh, well, she's important to him. And I just feel like at any moment I'm going to become the bait to something to find you. And all I feel is like I'm going to one day just feel you gone and I'm not going to even know where you are. And also I found your storage locker.
Yeah. I was hoping that I wouldn't be around.
What the fuck, Joshua? What are you why? And Sean is
I thought that would make
what?
you happy.
I mean,
He wasn't a
it was
good guy. On
I understand and no, you're right, he wasn't, but it wasn't your responsibility to take care of him, let alone keep him preserved along with others in some what are you what are you doing? What are you up to? What is this? Are
that,
you like a like a serial?
that was a different time. Um, I think you helped me not be that person. I was in a bad way when I came across you, and I'll be honest, I almost contemplated making a meal out of you too, but god damn it, there was something in you. And you see he kind of reaches out and puts his hand on your face very gently. Something that he's never done to you before, and he's just like, I saw something in you that I hadn't seen in years on. Not since I was alive. Say.
All I know is all I know is nothing. But I do know that you've taken a lot of steps to keep me safe and my friends, and thank you for that. And I hate that it feels like this is the last time I'm gonna see you. And
We're resilient, you and I. He kind of steps in and kisses you on top of the forehead. I'll be back once things have settled. I gotta try to fix this thing, this truce.
the note that I got at the Elysium, should I still go to that bank?
If you want. I had sent that because one of the others had challenged me for what I was basically doing with the pack, which is just existing. So I thought, it's me against this behemoth. I didn't think I was going to come out of it in one piece.
Okay. I'm guessing you don't have a lot of time left here, right?
Yeah, I gotta start making moves.
How do I let you know? Do you want me to let you know where I am? Once
He brings his other hand up to your other cheek, so he kind of cupping your head. He's just like, I'm always gonna look after you. I'll know when you need help. And very slowly, one hand at a time, he kind of pulls him back. And he kind of nods and he starts to make his way over to where Callie and Melvin are talking. So what does Melvin want from Callie?
So I just walk up to Callie, and I'm just like, it is good to see you again. I'm glad it's a little more peaceful circumstances this time, and I kind of smile when I say that.
A little more peaceful.
I heard what Josh said, right, to her before they walked in, or no,
Which part?
about them taking back West Salem.
Yeah.
Okay. So I let her know, I'm like, I since you did show kindness to me in our last encounter, I feel like I should, based on what who I'm assuming is Joshua, given the reaction.
She nods.
Be careful. There's seems like there's a new player that is coming into Salem. Vamps I've never seen before, never heard of. They even scare me more than your kind does sometimes. It seems like, and I just start laughing.
Yeah, she smiles at that.
Nervously. I just wanted to let you know because I understand what you guys are trying to do, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least give you a heads up on that.
You are good men. I appreciate that we do not stray solitarily. There's always pack.
I understand that. That's a concept I'm like, that's a concept I'm trying to come to terms with now. And I look back at Albert and I look inside towards where Connie is.
Yeah. You see she kind of cracks her knuckles and she's like, look forward to introducing myself to these vampires that scare you.
I'm looking forward to that too. Calliope. I certainly am. And I just smile at her and I'm like, just be safe.
Yeah. You see the tender moment between Josh and Connie, and then he slowly peels himself away and comes over. She looks at the two of you, then she kind of looks past you towards Albert. She nods at all three of you. And as they start to walk away, you see both of them, just their bodies start to kind of dissolve downward and fur starts to encompass themselves, and they turn into these two large, beautiful looking wolves. Josh is gray with streaks of black and just these kind of white-tipped ears and this white-tipped tail. And she is just almost pure obsidian with little tufts of red scattered around her body. And this kind of what looks to be this white patch on her stomach. And they both kind of just start to rush off towards the northwest.
I can't do cool things like that.
Connie, when do you figure out how to turn into a wolf?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Also, can we sleep here tonight or no?
Yeah. Well,
Hey,
sure.
Connie, how are you doing right now?
I mean, I was just gonna let
Albert,
her.
Albert, are you
I was-
yelling this from the van? Because you were.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Can I go inside now?
Are we allowed in?
Yeah.
Oh, are you okay? You look like you're crying.
Is it safe?
Is it safe?
Yeah.
I just sort of look at Melvin and I say, I asked about the I mean, you were there. I'm gonna be fine. Gonna be fine. I've come this far with you guys, so I'm sure everything will be fine. But it sucks. And I don't want to talk about it anymore. But I'm grateful to have company today. So let's start going inside then.
We'll figure it all out tomorrow night.
Yeah. And as the three of you walk into what was Josh's house, this is where we'll leave off for tonight. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and joining us for our Camarilla chapter. As always, if you haven't gotten vaccinated, please get yourselves vaccinated. If you feel like you have to, please continue to wear your mask, continue to wash your hands, continue to keep your distance, because we're still not out of the woods yet. And as always, if you're watching live on Twitch, I am putting up some phone numbers in our chat in case you need to reach out and talk to somebody. In case you need to kind of check in, to kind of take a page and kind of check in with your mental faculties to make sure that you're all right. Because mental health should be part of our general health, and we should kind of, if we need it, we should be able to check in without any stigma or any kind of taboo kind of hovering over our heads. So I ask, if you are a friend of somebody that is usually a strong personality or a happy-go-lucky person, please check in on them, call them up, say hello, how are you? Because any little bit of information, any little bit of checking in could definitely change the trajectory of somebody's life. So please check in on your friends, check in on yourselves. And as always, I will see you on Wednesday for our Legend of the Five Rings game, or on Friday for our Star Wars game. And if not, I will see you on Monday for our Anarch chapter. Thank you, and good night.